How we doing? I know you're saying, why is Omar has this lady smiling like that? Why would I have Hillary Clinton on my cover smiling like that? Oh, I forgot this is not how it works. This is not how it works. Yeah, Omar, I gotta bring this shit here, okay? You're probably thinking, Omar, why do you have this lady smiling like that? The whole idea is, this is the lady that Trump has been saying, lock her up, that he's gonna put her in jail, that he's gonna get her arrested. Sometimes, I'm not defending Hillary Clinton here, that she's about 72 years old. I never liked her policy. I thought she was too much of a hawk who loved wars and things of that nature. A lot of corruptions. I mean, you got to admit that. But everybody's corrupt. But the reason I'm starting with her is that Hillary Clinton was
What's his name?
a victim of Trump's rallies. Every time he did a rally, everybody is running all over the place saying lock her up, that she's a criminal. And today, what we saw is, let me see if I got this going. All right, we're live Saturday night. So the whole idea that Hillary Clinton here, I think she's probably delighted or elated. I don't know what the word to use here. Oh, this is me when I look beautiful. So that's why I'm started with her, because Donald Trump has been saying the same thing since 2016. Lock her up. And today he's the one who had to be humiliated and had to show up in court to turn himself in, which is amazing in itself. Now everybody's saying the world is going to end. This is the first time a president has been put on trial or has been arrested, or a former president has been arrested or indicted on crimes, 34 felonies. The whole idea is there's a first for everything. First of all, the man is a walking crime scene. All his life, he has been, cutting corners, cheating. You know what he did when he built his building, that big building he has? He imported Polish workers from Poland, and then he used to let them sleep inside the building where the work is done. When they finish, he cheated them out of their money and threatened them with deportation, that he's going to tell the immigration to deport them, and actually stole their money. He's a piece of shit. I'm going to say it again and again. Now, I'm from New York. He's from New York. A lot of fucking these yahoos going to say, he's our president. You're a bunch of idiots. You don't know who your president is. You don't know what, you don't vote your own interests, so I have nothing to say to you. You understand what I'm saying here? So the whole idea this morning, he turned himself in, and the news and what do you call it? The what was it? Let me put this here. So let me put this as a background. Okay, let me shut down the voice and just let it go. And that's it. So this morning, this is New Yorkers turn on to protest against Donald Trump. This morning, Donald Trump turned himself in as a criminal. He was indicted and he was arrested. The amazing thing is that I don't agree a lot with what happened to him today. Not because it's wrong, but I think they have a better case in Georgia, where he tried to overturn their election in Georgia and called the governor to give him 11,900 votes to find him. When they told him there's no votes, he said, you got to find me some votes. All I need is 11,979 votes. That's all I need. He's saying to make up shit as they go along. There's a better case, the federal case. The secret documents that he had in Mar-a-Lago, where he obstructed. I have no fucking idea why he took those papers to Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't read. And to top it all, to add insult to injury, every time they asked him they wanted him, he gave them a hard time. Then he gave them some. Then they found out he has more. Then he gave them some. Then they found out they had to fucking raid the place to get these top secret documents from this idiot who does not read. And I'm willing to bet you he has a 6th grade reading level. Yeah, I bet you that. The man doesn't read. He likes to look at picture. So this was today in New York. So everybody's upset. The only thing I hate about is the press, the mainstream press. They're trying to make it like it's like since sliced bread was invented. Donald Trump showed up, and this is his motorcade. The helicopters on top. They're moving out. They got everybody all excited for a fucking piece of shit garbage from New York, a real estate tycoon who cheated and stole all his life He stole from his tenant. He stole from his workers, and he's stealing right now from his supporters. As soon as he was today, you know the DA did something good. What the DA did is they don't wanna do a mugshot. You know when you get arrested, you get a mugshot. His supporter, his campaign put a fake put a fake mugshot of him being taking picture as if he was a criminal and send it to make money. It's all about money with Donald Trump. It's always about the money, man. It's always about the money. He always fleecing those poor whites in the Midwest and the South who are driven by mostly by racism and grievances. Because he never does. And what is he? What has Donald Trump did to these poor whites? Nothing. He has done nothing for these poor whites. Nothing. He was president for 4 years. He never delivered. Hold on, give me a second. Let me just make sure that I'm. Why am I looking here? I hate when I do this. You could tell I'm an idiot. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the whole idea is, as soon as he went into the courthouse, they they sent this picture email. Hold on. They um they sent this photo to his email to his supporters. They wanted to make money. They want to collect money. They want to make money. It's all about money, 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 money. You understand what's going on over here? That's the whole idea. It's all about. It's all about making money. Nothing more. Imagine if the DEA had taken this picture. They're gonna say, "Oh, look at these. Look at the New York State. They have degraded the former president by giving him a mugshot like they don't know him." But we knew the game and gave it him. Like I said, it's not the best case, but it's 34 felonies, so he has to beat these 34 felonies. A lot of people say, "Well, this was done so Donald Trump would not run for the presidency in what do you call it? Would not win the presidency in 2024." You have to understand that the Democratic Party want Donald Trump to be the primary winner of the Republican Party because he's not going to win. The only time he won the only reason that he won in 2016 was he was a new guy on the block. He was saying things nobody ever heard of. And a lot of people in the Democratic side thought he was going to lose. Everybody thought Hillary Clinton had it. A lot of people did not show up to the polls. Nobody came out. A lot of people didn't come out. Michigan, nobody. A lot of people in Detroit, nobody. 100,000 votes were missing from Obama's days. That's the only reason he won. And he was saying a lot of crazy shit. Everybody say, "Oh, he's going to do that. Oh, he's going to pay the deficit. Oh my gosh!" And you know what? He added $7 trillion to the deficit. Since the day of Washington D.C., since the day of George Washington, 238 years or 238 years or so, the deficit was 75% them and 25% Donald Trump. Donald Trump was what do you call it? Was a disaster as a president. He never delivered anything. He never delivered. And the most important thing, he never delivered for those poor people who went to his rallies. All these people went to the rallies thinking, "Oh, this is Donald Trump. He's going to help us replace and repeal." Remember when he wanted to repeal Obamacare? And most of the people in the audience are on Obamacare, but it's called the Affordable Act. They don't know they have it. And they're yelling and screaming. They want it repealed. They want to lose their own insurance because he's telling them. Donald Trump is a fake and a phony. Let's get back to the idea that I'm going to show you a video that a lot of people saying, "Well, the Democrats are afraid of him for 2024. No, they're not. Remember the 2022 Senate and House of Representative elections? What did the Democrats do? They indirectly helped all the Donald Trump candidates that he picked. The people he picked in Pennsylvania, like Carrie Lake in Arizona, all over the place. Herschel Walker in Georgia. So the Democrats know that Donald Trump is a toxic product for middle America, especially suburban women in suburbia, white women. You could call them Karen all they want, but they want stability. They don't want all that crazy shit that he was doing, all that stuff he was doing every day. So he cannot attract that. Even if he walked naked in the street and burned himself in front of these women, they're not going to vote for him. So the whole idea, they want him to be the Republican front runner to run against a Democrat, against Joe Biden or anybody, because he's going to lose. Why? Uh, there's so much hatred against him from the opposition or people from the Democrat or independent, more than there are people who are crazy about him. So his presence will bring out everybody to vote. He will ignite the Democratic and independent base to come and vote against him because they don't want that headache, that headlines every night. Donald Trump said this. Hannibal did it. It was the most corrupt administration in history. The majority of them either ended up in jail or in the indictment, or were given political pardon before he left to spare them jail time or to go to be indicted and convicted of crimes they did while he was president of the United States. The problem is we are dealing with grievances. The opposition has a lot of grievances. I'm sorry to use the word opposition, but his supporter or the people that they feel, this is New York today. Let me put this. I love this more better because it gives you an idea. Hold on. Let me put my beautiful face in the front. All right, there I am. This is the background. Where was I thinking? The whole idea. I lost my train of thought. The whole idea is Donald Trump is a failure. His administration was corrupt as hell. He said he promised that he's going to come and drain the swamp. As you know, Washington D.C. is corrupt as fuck. The Democratic Party is corrupt. The Republican Party is corrupt. The whole civilian government entity is corrupt, and is losing legitimacy every single day. A matter of fact, if we were in a third world country, no doubt in my mind that the military tanks would have been down Pennsylvania Avenue a long time ago. Because what's going on is stupid. They're only investigating each other. What do you have? You have Matt Gates. You have this idiot, the old fart, Margie Taylor Moore. Well, I came to New York to support Donald Trump. He got like Bugs Bunny. But New Yorkers were very rude. They didn't let me protest. They were whistling. The police had to come and get me out of the crowd because it was getting too rough for me. You piece of shit. What do you have? Lauren Boebert. God and the church is before the government, before the government is before the church. And she's living a lie. She's been arrested a couple of times. Her husband's been arrested. Her children are having children out of wedlock. All that Christian shit is all bullshit. They run that's the game they run on the poor whites in the Midwest and South. I call them the poor whites, even if they get upset at me. Because sometimes I feel like we have more in common with these people than they know, but they vote their color instead of their economic interests. If we were able to unite us, when I mean us, is the blacks, the Hispanics, the poor people in urban areas, to get an idea and open a line of communication with people in the Midwest, in these devastated towns. They've been devastated by the opiate crisis, by heroin, by a factory that closed and moved to China because of NAFTA. NAFTA was the product of Bill Clinton and the Republican Party. They both were on it, and they destroyed the whole Midwest factories, and they decimated those whole towns and villages and turned those people into zombies who were being dying of alcoholism, of drug overdose, or just boredom because they refused to leave their town or relearn a new profession. Now Donald Trump comes, he whistles, they come out of the cracks, under the rocks, and they vote in. They never voted. They existed, but nobody knew they were there because the political entities called the Republican Party and Democrats just forgot about them. Now, the whole idea I want to go back to is that if we're able to open a line of communication and convince them that their interests and our interests are entwined, that they are not getting the share of the American dream, they're not enjoying the American dream. They don't have any privileges. So when they scare them, like Tucker Carlson, well, they're going on. We're just asking questions. They want to take your privileges away because you're white. They want to overcome You don't have any privileges. You know why? Because you're poor as fuck. What privileges do you have? The only white privilege there is in the United States is with the elites, the 1%, the 2% who control almost the whole economy. We are nothing but indentured servants. The whites, the poor whites, are nothing but like their forefathers, indentured servants for the political elite, the political white elites and the economic white elites. How do you convince them? You can't. You can't talk to them. They don't want to listen because they are driven by this idea of this is our country and we killed all the Indians and you guys are coming over and want to take over. I don't want to take over. Shit. I don't even want the headache. You could have the country, but we just want stability. We want to work together and vote our interests. I will vote with them if there's something good. But imagine, let me give you an example how fucked up they treat, how the Republicans treat these poor whites. In Mississippi, 4 hospitals have closed. 4 rural hospitals, real hospitals have closed. That means if somebody has a heart attack in a certain area in Mississippi, they will die before they can find a hospital. And the reason these hospitals closed is for one reason only. The governor refused to expand the Medicaid coverage for his citizens. And the state is not losing even 1 penny. That's federal money that's there. The money is there. All he has to do is just say, yes, I want it. All the other states took it, like New York and other stuff, Boston, California. All these states took that money and they're helping their citizens. But these poor states like Alabama, like Georgia, they don't want to take that money. No, we got to be self-dependent. But at the same time, $80 million was stolen by the governor of Mississippi and what's that, Brad Favre, the football player. $80 million that was supposed to go to the poor people on welfare. They took it and they stole it and they redirected it to making volleyball stadiums. There was a lot of corruption going on. Imagine how disrespectful they are, spitting in the face of their own supporters. There's another hospital is about to close. There's going to be 5 hospitals they're going to close in Mississippi, and Mississippi is like the poorest state in the union. I think Mississippi depends on the federal government to stay afloat anyway. I mean, what's in Mississippi? What? I never bought nothing from Mississippi. At least Kentucky have bourbon. You got nothing, man. But the whole idea, they will vote every single time for that fucking piece of shit governor, that hairless governor. When I mean hairless, his face, he looks more feminist than what man he is. He refuses to take that money to help those poor whites in Mississippi. The same thing is happening all over. The same thing is happening all over the United States. But you cannot convince them. Let me look. Yeah. So let's go see the streets of New York City today. This is this afternoon in New York City. These are New Yorkers protesting Donald Trump. Yeah. They don't like his ass. Yeah. Donald Trump is from New York. He was born in Queens, New York, but he has no support. Okay. This is Marjorie Taylor Moore. You see the old fart? Hold on. This is Marjorie Taylor Moore. She thinks she's going to do... If Marjorie Taylor Moore came to New York, she thinks she's going to do that bullshit she does in Washington or in Georgia. She's lucky New York isn't hit up with fucking eggs and tomatoes. We got no time for that shit. You got to come and protest and create problems. You think you're going to have another capital shit riot in New York City? They were ready. The mayor said, you better control yourself. And he told her. She came out, look at that old hag. Look how old she looks at. Look at it. The police had to get, nobody wanted to harm her. Don't get her wrong. Nobody wanted to hurt her or anything like that. But she thought she was going to do a protest outside for Trump. It's not going to happen in New York City. We don't have no time for that shit. Look it up.
Go back to Georgia.
Look. Go back. Look at that old fart. Look at that old fart. She doesn't belong there. There's no reason for her to be in New York City. There's no reason for that to be here. She had no reason to be here in New York City. Let me see. What is this? Southern Sister Register. Wow. Margie Taylor Greene went through some thing. they hate that this people hate. This is Margie Taylor Moore today. This is the old fart. Well, I'm for the living child. I want to save the human lives. I don't know how she does her teeth. She looks like she belongs to the you know how the human sapien like us, there was the other human before us, the Netherians or something, the Neanderthal. I don't know how to pronounce that shit. She has that feature like she has not developed. She is still part of the other human, the gatherers that were killed by the Homo sapiens. Well, I'm gonna go to New York and protest for Donald Trump because he's innocent. Shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
You animal, you! Go back to the farm, you animal! They're looking for you at the sanctuary!
Look at her.
You filthy animal!
You filthy animal, sir.
QAnon lunatic! Hit her with the space lasers! Blast her with the fucking space lasers! Get the fuck out of New York, you racist, sick, filthy, infected animal! Get the fuck out of here!
Get the fuck out of here. That's as New York as you could get. When I hear that in New York, I feel good. I like not focus even towards me. I thought every time what I love about New York. Let me see. There's that traffic of people moving. Everybody's in a hurry. Everybody got out of the way. Rude and sometimes nice. Like, yo, hurry up. Yo, beep, beep, get the fuck out the way. What are you doing? Daydreaming? Hurry up, man. It's a green light. Shut up. You foreigners. That's New York. That's New York. New York has this thing about it, that flavor of people, of different, they come together and produce one beautiful mosaic city. I don't care what you think about New York City. I'm from New York. I lived all my life. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I would never trade. I don't care if you put me in Wyoming, whatever, or Idaho in a big farm with horses. I'll probably go there for a couple of months. But I want to go back to New York and get on that subway and eat that hot dog in Manhattan. You know what I love when I go to Manhattan? When I see all these people walking around, you could tell they're tourists from different states and they're like from the Midwest, the way they dress. It's always you have the father and the mother and the fat daughter and the fat son. And they always have these cameras and they're taking pictures of buildings. I'm like, what? I'm looking at them. And they all look the same. One time, I was with my wife and I said, whoa. These people look like they're rented. You know how you see a movie and there's these, how you watch a movie, they have those extras and those extras are not doing really nothing. They're just moving around because they're supposed to move around. That's how I feel when I go to Manhattan. I see all these people going about, they're taking pictures and all that. And I'm like, what the? I'm just trying to get out of there. I have never took a picture of Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? You go there, you eat that food in the car, the halal food. Five Guys halal food is the best halal food in New York. If you go to that thing and eat, man, you eat your fingers. Anyway, so the whole idea that Donald Trump now has been indicted on 34 felonies. I don't know how it's gonna work, man. And then every time he comes to New York for trial, we gotta go through this shit. All these demonstrators, protests, closing down the street, creating traffic, man. I think what they did is, I have an idea. He was indicted in New York. The indictment of him in New York was done to get his supporters conditioned that he's going to get indicted again. And he is going to get indicted again. He did a lot of crazy shit. The man is no doubt in my mind, he's a criminal. He's not a criminal that kills or hurts. He's a criminal that has to do with money. Money, he loves money. And anything that has to do with money, he'll do it. I have one theory that everybody think I'm crazy. Remember that time when he killed that Iranian general for no reason? And I don't know what's his name, Soleimani, whatever the fuck his name was. He killed him like 4 o'clock in the morning in Iraq. Now that general, he's not our friend. but we were allied. We were indirectly allied with him to kill ISIS. The Iranian hated ISIS because ISIS hated Iran, and we both hated ISIS. So sometimes they said, make strange bedfellows. I don't know, politics or whatever, or make strange bedfellows. So we were actually an ally of him, and he just killed him. I know he got paid for that. The Saudis and the Arab Gulf hated this man. They used to see him as the biggest villain. He was like Lex Luthor to them, Lex Luthor of the Middle East, and they wanted him gone. And I think they paid $2 billion to get him killed. And that $2 billion was paid after Donald Trump left the presidency. They gave it to Jared Kushner to invest. Jared Kushner is not a fucking investor. He has invested. As a matter of fact, he got $1.1 billion from Qatar to rescue his building, the 666 Fifth Avenue building. Go look it up. He almost started a war in the Middle East to force Qatar to rent it for 99 years, and they did rent it for 99 years because that's called economic terrorism. They were going to destabilize Qatar because Qatar does not want to give the Kushner family any loans or money. Instead of they asking for $500 million in loans, they gave them $1.1 billion later by force. And what did Qatar say? Well, sovereign wealth made a mistake in Canada. They invested in Kushner's building, and they did not tell us. Bullshit. Bullshit. Donald Trump, bullshit. Donald Trump, bullshit. Here we go. Listen, wait, I gotta do this, man. I have to do this. Hold on. Hold on, Hold on. I have to do this. Give me 1 second. I have to go to YouTube and monetize the video. What the hell am I doing? I'm working for nothing. Not making no money, guys. YouTube, you don't make no money on YouTube no more. You know what I'm saying? YouTube is like a fucking bullshit. Bullshit. You make a penny on 3,000, on 1,000 views on the public. Yes. Let me put it on. Yep. Okay. All right, now we put it on. Now we good, yeah? All right. Let's go see some more videos before we go. Okay, here's another stupid idea. This is, what's his name? George Santos. This is a corrupt guy. He used to make up shit. This is the, what do you call him? The First Gump. He's everything, man. He's Jewish, he's Hispanic, he's gay, he's straight. His mother died in a building. Everything you can think about, he's the biggest liar. And what the is this kind of yay? Okay, yo, yay! This is yay with the mega bullshit. And they send this guy. That's his advisor. And listen, Donald Trump is going to get indicted 34 felonies. And what do? Congress, they send the biggest losers. The racist, it's not a racist, the idiot Margie Taylor Greene, and the corrupt and lying piece of shit, George Santos. Do you really want to have these guys outside supporting you? I don't think it helps out. There he goes, look.
So why are you running, man? Excuse me.
Not running, Jared.
You sure you're not running?
Where are you running, man?
Are you finally bringing legitimacy to this process? Are you finally bringing legitimacy to this process?
You got my glasses on.
Guys,
Can you just tell us, George? Can you talk to us about your volleyball career? Just tell us why you felt it was important to show up. Have you
How good a volleyball player were you?
Are you bringing legitimacy to this process finally? Are you finally?
Are you going to quit?
Talk to me about your law degrees. Which law degrees have you gotten that you are bringing here to this?
I showed up.
As first president of the United States, you can actually
Make way. Come on, make way.
This guy's going to go to jail soon. They all investigated him. The only reason he's still there, the Republican only have 4 votes.
Not running, Jared.
You understand? The only reason...
Are you finally bringing legitimacy to this process?
Fucking New York is a fucking
Are you finally bringing legitimacy to this
Let me shut this down. This guy, the only reason he's still in Congress is because the Republican Party have only a 4-vote majority, I think, or 5 vote. So they need his vote. Kevin McCarthy, the weak. I don't want to say something stupid. needs his vote because the right wing is gonna bust his ass every single time. That's the only reason he's still there. He doesn't need to be there. That's not the character witness that you need to be or you need to have outside the court while you're being indicted while you're being indicted in what's going on, man? Did I Oh, I messed up. Oh baby. Yeah. Oh, I messed up here. Let me see. Let me see. Let me try to get it all together. Yeah. I'm there. All right, live. Saturday night is live. Yeah. Okay, there he goes. Sorry, I was looking at my anyway, that's not the guy you want to have outside supporting you, man. You guys are fucking nuts. Donald Trump is I don't you guys okay, let's go. All right, we finished. Now we're gonna go to this guy's. Okay, before we start, I hope he doesn't do a strike on my channel. All right, this is David. No, Patrick Bet David. He's a multi-million-dollar rich man. He's a millionaire, whatever. I don't know. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars in the insurance company. But sometime I watch his podcast. This is his reaction today to what happened in Manhattan. Let's see what he has to say.
In 2016. If you remember, what was the mistake? The mistake was they kept having Trump on 24/7. CNN, MSNBC.
That was our friend
CNN,
Chris Licht.
MSNBC,
Sure, I agree with that.
over and over and over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden, one day they realized what was happening. They were helping him.
Oh,
And
Jeff Zucker.
Yeah, they're like, wait a minute,
no,
what are we doing, guys? We're helping
you're
this guy.
fucking dumb.
Stop. This is too much. We can't do this anymore.
Oh.
And then it's too late. He's a president, right?
That's not. They were making a lot of money. Donald Trump was good for rating. They had the best years of their life and rating MSNBC and like fuck. There was a lot of money. Donald Trump made a lot of money for the cable TVs because every day there was a fucking scandal. He doesn't understand that. David Patrick doesn't understand that it was done on purpose. It's not because he snuck on them. They still covered him while he's president, and they're gonna cover him tonight. Tonight he's gonna do a speech. There's people. The mass media or corporate media, it's all about profits. They don't care about the country. They will bring the devil on if they could help their ratings. Go ahead.
Tonight, this guy's going to have an event tonight. Okay.
Okay.
And his event tonight is he's going to come and give a message. Okay, when he flies back.
Speech.
It's going to be a fiery event.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
His base is flipped out right now, furious.
You know who the fuck? His base, a bunch of fucking idiots. We saw them. They took a shit in the fucking Pentagon. What is it? In the Capitol. When they ransacked the Capitol, they were taking shit in the hallway. They didn't even know how to use the bathrooms. The base. I don't know what this base is. How about the American people, man?
Whenever you do something like this, you best make sure you're right.
You're right.
Because the track record Democrats have of going against Trump, they've been wrong and they've lost 9 out of 10 times.
I don't know.
Russia this, tax this, that, boom, failed.
He cheated on his taxes for 30 years or 20 years, but he did it legally, the way he cheated. And the Russia, they did have contact. The Mueller report said that, but Bill Barr, the Attorney General, ate the fucking report and Mueller it down.
Fail. All you're doing right now is waking up the people that were never going to vote for Trump on this one. They were ready to go to DeSantis. You just got some of those guys to say what? You know what? I don't think this is fair. I'm going back to Trump. I don't think this helps him. Every channel, every publication, every website, he just raised $7 million since being indicted.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
God knows what that number is going to be by the end of tonight. That could hit a $20, $30 million number, all by doing this. So Dems may win the battle, but they may lose the war. Unlike COVID. I think in COVID,
I think you're wrong, Patrick. I think you're wrong. Like I said before, the Democrat knows that Donald Trump is a toxic candidate. He hasn't won since 2016. You're not looking at the big picture. Donald Trump hasn't won since 2016. In 2018, he lost the House and the Senate. In 2020, he lost the presidency. In 2022, all his candidates lost. You're not looking at the big picture. 2016 was a fluke because everybody thought that Hillary Clinton had it in the bag. A lot of people did not come out. A matter of fact, he only won by 45,000 votes. If you break it down to the 4 states, the 5 states he won, 10,000, 5,000. He didn't even win a lot. And I think he lost the popular vote by 3 million and then by 10 million, I think, with Biden. Go ahead. Let's see what Patrick has to say.
They did is, in COVID, Trump won the battle, they won the war. You know what I'm saying? Because they got him to get, not get reelected.
Correct. Until we look at the finish line for COVID is extending, and there's a second chapter that's here. But Trump's already...
But by the way, it was dirty to say the least, but you got to give them credit to their strategy. You got to give them credit to their strategy on what's happening there. So
there was no strategy. The guy's stupid. He's the one who did a good job of getting the vaccine in record time, but he never took credit for it. Instead of taking credit for saving millions of lives, Donald Trump, instead of taking credit for saving millions of lives with the vaccine, he turned American against America with the political war and mask and all that stuff, vaccinated, not vaccinated. And he was vaccinated. It doesn't make any sense. Good.
Anyway, so having said that, Tom, you said something about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton herself.
Celebrating.
Clinton was given $113,000. So when you go back, Clinton campaign classed these expenses, flashback to Hillary Clinton quietly settled campaign finance violation last year. And
this is when you know the right are losing. Exactly. This is 101 when the right. Pat is a flat. He's a patsy for the right. I don't even think he believes what he's saying. Pat has been on the Joe Rogan podcast, and anybody who goes in there comes out owned by a new audience. So he's captured by a new audience. So this is when you know the right are losing. When the right are losing is when they start talking about Hillary Clinton. What aboutism? What about Bill Clinton? He had his dick sucked. Oh, nothing happened to him. Oh, he paid $850 to Paula Jones. He lost his law license. What about this? What about a bum? What about boom? What about bum? Bum 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 bum. Bullshit. Good. We have to say about Hillary. Hillary last night gave a big blowjob to Clinton. She's so happy as fuck.
Was never arrested. Okay, never. In 2022, Hillary Clinton was fined by the Federal Election Commission after an investigation showed that she and the DNC misreported payments made to a law firm during the 2016 campaign to obscure the spending. The AP reported last year the firm was Perkins Coie, which hired research firm Fusion GPS, which then fabricated evidence compiled in the Steele dossier, which was later used by Congress to impeach Donald Trump. The Clinton campaign classed these expenses paid to Perkins Coie for opposition research as legal services, and for the misrepresentation, Clinton was made to pay a fine of $113,000. Trump is looking at the possibility of handcuffs for the same charges, mischaracterization payments to lawyers.
Okay, the guy had sex with a prostitute or a porno star. It doesn't matter. But he continued to break the law. He never came on and paid a penalty like everybody else. Did he pay any penalties? And I don't know, it's probably different. I'm not a lawyer. All of a sudden, why do we have to go back to Clinton for everything? Why don't we just judge Donald Trump with his crimes? If he's guilty, he's going to be found guilty. If he's innocent, I'm going to be the first one to say, yo, he's innocent. But every time the right is losing, they always bring Hillary Clinton. I wonder what they're going to do when Hillary dies. When Hillary Clinton dies of old age and her husband, who are they going to bring? What aboutism? Remember Hillary Clinton when she was alive and she did that? If you look at the history of Hillary Clinton, she has did more good than bad. Hillary Clinton, when she came out of, I don't know, Yale, whatever those, Stanford, I don't know what Yale, what Ivy League she came out. She volunteered in schools for underprivileged kids for years to help them. When she became, I don't know, she did a lot of good, man. There was a bit of corruption when her husband became president, but Washington is corrupt. And the problem is, I'm not saying what happened to Trump is right or wrong. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a real politician. I'm just a guy with fucking sunglasses, prescription sunglasses, and a Cleveland hat, and a microphone. That's how beautiful America has become. An idiot like me could get up, has all these equipment in front of him to have 3 big screens and a studio behind me and all that stuff. I have a whole studio in the house and talk out of my ass and think I'm making sense. And I get 2,000 views from people from India, Brazil, from all over the world. I want to thank them. So the whole idea, the right is losing once they mention Hillary Clinton right away.
As legal fees when those lawyers were passing on the money for another purpose.
The argument,
now, there's two things here.
Patrick.
Remember, if you're listening, that money was in the Clinton campaign. It was in the campaign coffers of Perkins Coie. It was used for the Steele dossier. It was in the middle of it. This money was in the...
The history of the Steele dossier, it was first... There's something called the Beacon. The Beacon Institute is a right-wing opposition research. They do that. When you run for president, they investigate you. They have people who have an opposition research. They want to see what you did when you was in school. Or did you pay your taxes? Or did you lie? Or did you break a crime? Do you have felonies? It was done by a conservative organization as an opposition against Donald Trump for, I think it was for... Ted Cruz. But once Ted Cruz everybody lost, they had the law firm or the people, they had all this information, whatever the Steele dossier, whatever is true or not, and they contacted the Clinton, said, listen, we have all this information. If you want it, you could have it. It's all about the money. Go ahead.
The Trump Corporation to pay Stormy Daniels. This money never was in the political campaign.
That's right.
Do you see the difference?
Of course, it says Clinton and the DNC said the payments were legal fees, but settled for the fines anyway. Clinton paid a civil penalty of $8,000, while the DNC paid the remaining $105,000.
The DNC.
The DNC.
Correct. So in other words, it was a campaign finance violation. Period. End of sentence. Full stop. Whereas this is... The girl gets some money. She's not supposed to talk. These are NDAs. These are all over the place. We've seen them in other companies.
The porn star.
This was not in the campaign.
She's the girl. The porn star got the money. Donald Trump likes vehicles with a lot of mileage. Like I said, he's like the guy who goes to a new car place, and he got the money. He could get a Mercedes, a Tesla, a BMW, brand new. Because that one outside with the 200 mileage, is it for sale? That's the Stormy Daniels and the Playboy girls that he used to get. That's what he likes. He likes women with a lot of mileage. I'm gonna say it, I don't care. I mean, he has no taste.
And they're saying, oh, but he was trying to mislead the American people in the campaign. Listen, if he can't prove a second crime here, this is not a Class C felony, and it's not 34 counts. And by the way, to the news media people that did the math, that 34 counts times so many years to get 136 years, you are such a fraud. You know who you are. And if that writer is listening, you know you're a fraud. They
always say that.
That is pathetic. Any person that was charged with this, the most you go to is double. Okay, well, you would normally get 4 years for that. We'll make it 8 because you did so many of these. They consolidate sentences and do what's called concurrent sentencing. Happens all the time. Happens with killers, serial killers. So you read these headlines. Same. There is such thirst in corners of the media.
Are you surprised? Or nobody is surprised. By the way, Alvin Bragg's just made some comments. If you want to play it, Rob, so we can hear this.
Let's move on. I already heard it.
False statement. Why?
Hey, look at...
By the way, you want to see what Trump said about this? Here's what Trump said about this.
The table there? There's his legal team?
Yeah, I saw that. Trump said this about this. He says, wow, District Attorney Bragg just literally leaked the various points. This is yesterday. And complete information on the pathetic indictment against me. I know the reporter. And so, unfortunately, this means that he must be immediately indicted. Now, if he wants to really clean up his reputation, he will do honorable thing. And as district attorney, indict himself. He will go down in judicial history, and his Trump-hating wife will be, I'm sure, very proud of him. And you got to realize, you listen, say what you want to say about this guy.
This is a street fighter, baby.
This is a street fight.
He's not a street fighter. He's a fucking piece of shit. The guy avoided Vietnam 5 times. I have a bum spur. He avoided Vietnam 5 times while other people's kids went and died and got injured and fought the good war. You know what he said on the Howard Stern radio show? My Vietnam was avoided sexually transmitted disease. He's a fucking phony coward. He's not a street fighter. That's not street fighting. Talking about the guy's wife while your wife was a fucking porn star. Come on, man.
This guy's been trained.
He's a hypocrite, man. This Patrick and his team, you know, they sucking Santos' dick so hard, and Trump, I don't know what they get out of it. I think they just get out of it the views on YouTube, and they're making a little money. I don't know how much they're making on YouTube. He's not making any sense. This is not a street fight. This is a coward. Well, if the DAA should indict himself. Have you heard of that? That a DA should indict himself, and his wife will be proud of him. What does his wife has to do with the situation? Why would you talk about another man's wife, man?
For 50 years for this job. He's been trained 50 years for this job. Okay, question.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, if you want to just wrap this up, so while we're on this topic, can you
wrap it
show
up,
the
man.
hush money you found, Rob, that the government has a fund called the Shush Fund that we pay for? Folks, you and I pay for this. Congress owes taxpayers answers about its harassment shush fund. Now, what is this? Some may say, what do you mean by this? Since when are members of Congress and their staff accused of sexual harassment allowed to hush up? It's there you go. If you have the list on how much we paid every year of the $18.2 million, it's on page 7.
Aid or page.
So settlement $4 million, and this Rob, if you can put a
couple, maybe Adam will take a couple. I'm going to take McConnell, and I don't think McConnell's happy. McConnell is a good legislator. I think when he sees this indictment, any lawyer or person is going to look at this and they're going to think about the Clinton campaign finance, and he's going to be sitting there thinking, man,
where'd you get this Clinton out of your fucking heads, man?
And they're really getting this guy revved up. So I don't think McConnell's going to be very enthusiastic about this at all. The core, the RNC, I don't think the RNC is happy at all. I think they've seen the opposition research. They see things come out. I think they're scrambling a little bit, and I don't think they're happy. I think that I'll go to someone like Chuck Schumer. I think Chuck Schumer is going to put on a brave face in public, Pat, but I think behind closed doors, Chuck Schumer is raising eyebrows and maybe he looks a little bit like the Emperor of Japan. I fear we have wakened a sleeping giant.
Shut up. What giant?
He's known Trump for a long time, and Schumer's a street fighter, and he knows a street fighter when he sees him, and I believe that Chuck Schumer is sitting there. I fear we have awakened a sleeping giant.
Sauce.
I'm just thinking if I'm the Biden camp,
I
I'm just
can't
reading
believe
The Art
this,
of
man.
War by Sun Tzu. And what's the famous quote? When your enemy is...
Get out of his way.
Just get out of his way.
Yeah.
Just don't even say anything. If you're Joe Biden right now, you just kind of let this circus play out, because this is a circus.
Well, Joe Biden can't say nothing. He's the president of the United States. If he says something, it's illegal because he'll be putting his thumb on the scale of justice. He doesn't want to interfere in a legal process, because if he says something, they're gonna say, look, he's interfering with the jury pool. You have to be smart. He can't say nothing. He can't. If he says something, it's disastrous. If Joe Biden makes any comment right now, the case will be dismissed. You understand?
Circus. And you know, for me, this is a very sad.
Out of the three people, I think this guy is the most sane one, and he's the most realistic one. But he doesn't have he doesn't have the money. He works for Patrick, so sometimes you just have to toe the line. But I think, I forgot his name. I don't know his name. He used to be a comedian, whatever. I think he's the more moderate or more smart thinking guy. You know what I'm saying?
Bad day for America, because I was generally waiting until 2024, until the nonsense of political season basically kicked off. But this is the kickoff of political nonsense season. So more than anybody, I'm sure there are a lot of people on the left that are celebrating this. I watched Stephen Colbert the other day, and you're talking about someone who used to be, when he was doing the Colbert Report and Daily Show, just such an awesome, just instinctual comedian. At this point, like, to be a great comedian, you need to basically have the art of surprise, but there's no surprise at this point. He basically, this was what, Friday, the news came out that the indictment was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
He's
says,
not a
all right,
comedian.
guys,
He's
Trump
a
got
show.
indicted. The crowd goes wild. And for me, that's a sad situation, because more than anything, I care about America. What do you think our enemies, like our actual enemies,
do this shit.
are doing right now?
How about
China
Fox News?
is
What they
looking
doing
at
over
us
there?
right
I'm gonna
now.
do what about
When
it?
Russia is looking at us right now. When Iran is looking at us now, you're saying, this is what you stand for, America? This nonsense right here?
Fucking Iran has no fucking leg to stand on to judge America of anything. Iran is a theocracy, whatever the fuck, I can't pronounce these words. Iran is a religious country with fucking nut jobs, mullahs. That's where Patrick was from. He's an ethnic Assyrian who lived in Iran. So it doesn't. Who cares what the people say about us? This is a law and order country, like we said. Let him take it. Let Trump get his day in court. That's what they say.
And it's just saddening to me because our enemies are basically looking and being like, this fucking circus of a country is just getting worse and worse and
No,
worse.
they're
And that's what
saying
they
this
want.
country,
And I
there's
do
nobody
agree
above
that
the
no
law.
one is
They're
above
saying the
law, but I
opposite.
also agree that nobody should be targeted by the law, right? And I think that's what a lot of people think is happening right here. Because this is about
I hate my body.
hush money payment to a porn star.
Yes.
Okay, there can be arguments made because correct me if I'm wrong. This isn't the end of the investigation season of Trump. They're going to be investigating him still for January 6th.
Yeah.
They're still investigating him for that phone call he made
Yeah.
to Georgia. Find me 10,000 votes.
11,000.
There's going to be more to come. And the fact that this is where we're at in this country is that the president has been arrested and charged for hush money to a porn star.
Okay, let me correct you. The former president. He's not. He's a citizen right now.
They're
He's a
using all
civilian.
sorts of legalese, and everyone's going to give their million different opinions. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump has been arrested for his interactions with a porn star.
You know, it's wild. While all of this is going on, we're having a live podcast on Thursday with Giuliani and Rubin.
Yeah.
If there's anybody qualified enough to talk about what's going on with this for that Thursday night podcast that we're having, it's going to be Rudy, because he's gone through this mess so many times the last 50, 60 years. But to me, you know, while you see something like this, are Republicans sitting here saying
Sorry
the
about that.
following? The Republican voter, or the Republican voter saying, man, shoot, okay, so let's just say we get Trump. Even if Trump gets only 4 years, he's not going to get 8 years to create momentum. He's going to get 4 years. And after his 4 years,
He's
would
not gonna
Trump
get
be
it.
willing to help DeSantis get 8 years?
Yeah.
So for it to be 12 years, because DeSantis is going to end up being a president, 70, 80% chance he's going to be a president. So this
I
time,
don't think
4
so.
years, 8 years, nobody knows. But
I don't think DeSanto is not as smart as you think, Patrick. DeSanto is about headlines. He's just he's the Marjorie Taylor Greene of the men's side of the Republican Party. He's always about going after headlines. Walk this, walk that. Oh, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse fucking gave it him right up the ass. What did he do? He lost with Walt Disney. You understand? So he's not about real issues. What you're gonna see? I wish he would declare his presidency. Donald Trump would have a field day with him. I will vote for Donald Trump for the reason only that he's been very entertaining with DeSantis. That's the only time I'll vote for him.
willing to do that, and if he does, are they going to let him do what he needs to do in 4 years? Or is it going to be like this every day? Every day, Trump tries to pass a bill, a law, whatever. Every day, they're going to say, do you know this came up? Do you know that came up?
But you see, the problem you don't understand, he doesn't understand our government. We have three branches of our government. Trump doesn't make any laws. What Trump does is, once a law is passed, he enforces the laws. Let me teach David about the civic matters. Laws are made by the legislative branch, by the two legislative branches, the Senate and the House. They have to agree, and both houses have to pass this bill. Then, once it gets to Donald Trump, he signs it into law. You understand? He's like the coffee boy for Article 1 of the United States Constitution, which is the legislative branch. But it's the amazing thing, they're always fighting, so they don't have real legitimacy. So he doesn't understand. Trump doesn't make any laws, my friend. All those executive orders he made, like 30 or 50 or 100, they used to take them and throw them in the garbage after he's finished. They didn't mean nothing. Well, they're all for the camera and that big book he signs.
Came up. And the average Republican voter is saying, dude, do I really want to mess with this for another 4 years? Then the MAGA voter is saying, no, this is exactly the guy that's going to get the job done. Who else do you want to put in there?
What did he do?
Okay? The moment they're done getting rid of him, they're going to target DeSantis next. So whether you like it or not, they're going to target anybody that's on the right
Wait, hold on.
side. This is
It's not the right side. This is called politics. If you study the history of politics, the dirtiest political party is Republican. See, God bless Patrick. I don't know if he's he's an immigrant like me, so I'm not trying to make fun of him. But he doesn't know what Willie Horton, what they did to the caucus, George W. Bush the father. They brought this black guy who raped this white woman. They do a lot of stuff. The CRT, critical race theory, the transgender. They use all that culture war every time. The Republican Party are the party of culture wars. The Democrats, whether you like them or not, they are the party of ideas and things like that. They have things to pass. And the whole issue, it is only natural that the Democrats don't want Trump to win, as it is natural that the Republican side doesn't want Joe Biden to win. It's all politics. It's all about money and clout and ideas and billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars are involved. When one side wins, a lot of people get paid, indirectly through bills, through new laws, through deregulation, whatever you want to call it. So Patrick is making it personal. It's not personal, Patrick. It is called politics. It's dirty, but it's politics.
This is the right guy to come and get the job done. For you as a voter, how do you process this as a voter? You're a guy that's a policy guy, okay? You're not a guy that's like, you're more about who can get the policies done and get the job done. How does this get you to be concerned about whether any of the policies that need to be get done will...
Okay, I want to ask you something, Pat. Forgive me, man. I know you're smarter than me. You have $100 million. I'm a poor guy from New York, Brooklyn. I used to make the most I made was $40,000 all my life. Anyway, so what did Donald Trump get done? Donald Trump was president for 4 years. He never got anything done. He went and took pictures with that guy in North Korea. He tried to dissolve NATO. The only thing he passed the tax cut, maybe you benefited because you're a multi-million-dollar man. You probably made 20, 30 million out of his presidency. So you're looking after your pocket. You are as dirty as they are politically because you are looking after your interests. You made money. You saved money on taxes. That's the only thing he done. What other? Oh, he put tariff on China and he made him pay. No, we paid the tariff. And what did China do? They stopped buying farmers' food, soybeans. Then we had to reimburse. What Trump did is he took money from our pocket in urban areas and gave it to the farmers to save his policy with China. He never did anything for the poor people. 4 years wasted on fucking headlines and scandals on bullshit. Nothing. He played golf 323 days, man, out of 4 years. That means 1 year he played golf and 3 years he was president. You got to be honest, man. You have to be honest. I'm honest. If a Democrat says something stupid, like, nah, fuck you, you're lying.
Will he be able to do that in that 4-year period?
Well, yes, I'm a policy guy, and
be honest.
On one hand,
but he's a policy guy.
Over the last 2 weeks, as this has been slowly, coming to a boil, and I've been, I don't just look at certain media and get myself revved up because I'm only looking at NBC and 80% of that goes one way and it frustrates me. I'm looking at this now saying, you know what? This country needs to fight, and we need to fight back and against what is slowly becoming this standard. And you don't do that mildly. You don't do that with policies. You have to do that very deliberately and very strongly.
How do you fight?
We saw it happen with the Tea Party. We saw it happen with Reagan. Go back and take a look at this country, the Reagan-Carter.
The Tea Party was a racist movement against Obama because he was the black president. It was a knee-jerk reaction to the presidency of a black president. The Tea Party, led by Sarah Palin, all those idiots. And what the hell did they do? They didn't accomplish nothing. They were just screaming and yelling because the guy was president. And even the election of an idiot like Trump was a knee-jerk reaction by some whites that they think, oh, America has been taken by this half-black man, and he talks good, he has charisma, and he's doing a lot of shit. Whether you agree with Obama or not, he can't compare Obama to Trump. Even if I disagree with Obama, I think Obama was more of a moderate Republican than he was a real Democrat.
Election. Didn't have the internet, didn't have all that, but there was a lot of tension. There was a lot of stuff going on. And it took a strong force to come back and drive it. And so, yeah, policy people may work in a bipartisan way, but Pat, that's only when Congress is functioning as a bipartisan cooperative Congress.
I agree with you 100%. Right now, what he said is true. Congress is dysfunctional. They're fighting every day. They're not doing nothing right now. You know that? They're not doing nothing right now. Right now, the Senate and the House, they're just passing laws and throw them in the garbage because they're not functioning right now. I swear to God, they're not doing anything right now. If they stayed home, nothing will happen. The government will still run.
If they're not, then you need the strength. You need to draw the line. You need to hold the line. And it's a new world we live in. And I am a very, pissed off voter right now with what I'm seeing. I'm angered to action, not to revenge, but I'm angered to action.
That's honest.
Really forcefully. I'm not going to go lightly with friends and family that I talk to. I'm going to be very logical, I'm going to be Tom, but I'm going to be pretty direct with them about what are you standing for? This is not a mamby-pamby time. This is, you got to say, this is your country. This is what you want. You want to be like the Brits who have prime ministers for 10 minutes. We've seen that.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say he's acquitted from this, right? It's just they didn't want the Trump
to 11%.
There's 10% of the country that is going to basically dictate what happens.
I have a thought. I have a thought on what's going to happen. But before I give you that, can you play the clip of him walking into the court? 25-second clip. Can you just show this?
Dumbest take ever. Look, he looks angry.
Look at his mannerisms.
He looks angry. Look at him. He looks mad. He didn't eat his breakfast. Did you eat your breakfast, Mr. President, this morning? Did you eat your cereal? What is that? Oh, watch what he's going to say. Watch.
They just play this clip on loop.
Let me just tell you.
Okay.
If he is
there's our friend Jason Miller over there.
Get from what's it? Getter? What was it called?
Yeah, Getter.
If you
That's owned by a Chinese guy.
He's right there with Trump.
If you think
Miller
about how he's wired, okay, which is coming after you, do you know what this guy is thinking right now? Think about what he's thinking right now.
Nothing.
Think about what he's thinking right now.
Nothing.
They publicly humiliate. Let me tell you, like for me,
He
let me
humiliated
tell you
himself.
for me. You may beat this guy. He's got 5 kids.
Oh, fucking kids.
He's got 5 kids.
This is the Patrick is a Middle Eastern guy, so he thinks about that family value of the sons. Patrick, you're thinking wrong. They don't have the same structure as you do in the Middle East, where the sons take revenge for the father. He have Don Jr. who's on coke. He has what's his name? A fucking idiot, man. I mean, I was thinking about him the other night. He was making no fucking sense on TV. What's his name, man? Anyway, and he has his daughter Ivanka. That has nothing to do with him. He has 5 kids. And watch who's gonna get the revenge. It's like an Indian movie, where the father gets killed and the baby revenges his father. Watch this. That's an Indian movie scenario he's doing. La, la, la.
He's got grandkids.
Okay.
This bloodline of Trump is not going away.
Bloodline.
They just effed up for 80 years.
Let's shut the
Is
fuck
what they
up,
just
man.
messed up with. Okay. Not 10 years, not 20 years.
Americans don't care. You have George Wallace, McCarthy, Herbert Hoover. They all died and it's all gone. This guy has the wrong idea about America. Well, this kid's gonna grow up. Let him finish.
80 years.
80 years,
For
man.
80
They have 80 years of Trumpism.
You're going to have to hear this last name. 80 years. And there's only one strategy you can use to prevent that name from coming up left and right. And you know what that strategy is.
What is it?
Some try to do that with Kennedy, okay? With that strategy.
Don't compare him to Kennedy. He's not a Kennedy. Donald Trump is not a fucking Kennedy.
This one's not going to go away for a minute because Trump is more like Joseph Kennedy than he's like John F. Kennedy. I don't know if you know the difference, Tom. You know, obviously Joseph Kennedy was the guy that you feared, vengeance.
He's comparing Donald Trump, who fucks hookers for all his life, to the Joseph Kennedy who dealt with the mafia and made millions and millions of dollars with Al Capone. There is no comparison. It is a shameful. Shame on you, Patrick. You're comparing this fraud to the Kennedys.
I'm coming after you. I'm going to come versus John F. Kennedy was a guy that never wanted to be a president.
Yeah, all right. He had a
was
bad
the younger
back, yeah,
brother
I know.
with the
He
back
watched a lot of
problems, and
documentaries.
he had health issues, and
He had a bad
his
back. He
older
had
brother, who was a
disease,
pilot,
his
who was
father,
supposed to be the one that was supposed to be the president, and he was the guy that the day his older son died, Joseph Kennedy went into depression for a few years, and then all of a sudden, the younger son is like, I'm going to avenge.
I watched that same documentary on Netflix. His son died. He was a Navy pilot, whatever. I saw that. Me and Pat, we saw the same shit, and he's acting like he knows all this information. Patrick is a reactionary guy. He's impressed by anything. If he walks around and he sees two ants racing, he's like, "Whoa, look at these two ants are racing. One is red, one black. Look how harmonious. Why can't we be united like that?" That's what Patrick is like.
I'm going to come, and then boom, John F. Kennedy, and then RFK, and then boom.
Look who's going to get the revenge for the father.
The difference here is the father, Joseph Kennedy, equals Trump.
Exactly.
And Trump is the president.
To show you how tough it was, skip everything you've heard about Kennedy conspiracies. There were statements that were made by the mob that said, I don't know who did it. I don't know how it got pulled off. Talking about the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, that's a fucking,
but I'll tell you, I understand it.
That's a rabbit hole.
Shortly thereafter.
Let's get out of the rabbit hole.
Because it's still, don't do that.
Yeah. Different issues together. And he's been a friend of his for a long time. And this is not Giuliani, by the way. He's been a friend of his for a long time. And he said, it's wild how this guy at this age can compartmentalize 14 different issues. He says in a 26-minute conversation, we talked about 14 different issues, and he was sharp on every single one of them while he's dealing with this. So what are we going to do with, we're going to do this, call this guy. What are we going to do with it? He's like, he is so flippin' sharp. Meaning, do you trying to tire this guy out? He's not there yet. Okay, this is a guy that may be living into his 90s, okay, the way he is, right? Perfect, no problem. But Tom, there is a different, maybe it's different with the kid. I woke up when somebody called out my dad. I'm just a party guy. You embarrass my dad, game over. For the rest of your life, you're going to have to deal with me, right? Those 5 kids and the grandkids are watching this saying, you did that to my papa?
David, you're a different individual. David, you have this, it's a different attitude. You're a Middle Eastern issue, just like me. I'm from Yemen, Arabia. We have a different structure. Family, the father must not. We will get revenge for the father. We will carry it on. They have in my country killings. They last like fucking 100 years. One clan kills every year one of the other guy to get even for the guy who was killed a year ago, 100 years ago. They're not thinking like that here.
You did that to my dad? No problem. You're going to have to deal with me for decades.
This is gonna get
you win the
revenge.
battle,
all right.
But this type of an event, first time in the history of America that you're doing this, you're humiliating the last name. You may have just woke up a giant and it isn't who you think it is.
Look what it was.
Anyways,
quick
final
fact
thoughts
check,
before
by
we
the
wrap
way.
up here.
This is the second time this has happened. I don't know if you knew that. The first time, not being ironic here, Ulysses S. Grant was arrested and charged for speeding with a horse and buggy.
The fucking guy. These guys watch the news and repeat that shit over. Okay, I gotta go, man. I'm tired, man. I'll be back later. I have an interview with Ali Jamal. I'll see you later. This is Omar. It's been nice. You can't listen to this shit all day. These guys just watch a lot of fucking TV. They watch a lot of Netflix documentary and come and repeat them on their show. Anyway, Patrick, I think you're a wonderful guy, man, by the way. If you have a couple $1 million, throw it over here, man. Share, brother. We're from the same region. Love you. Take care, brothers.